Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamie Kindred, and I am the Community Programs and Projects Coordinator for the City of Hondo, and this is Get to Know Hondo. Thank you so much for spending your lunchtime with us. I am honored today to be spending my lunchtime with our Chief Finance Officer, Dee Willman. Welcome to my little cozy place here.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm doing well.
You look so fabulous, by the way. You are super sharp.
Thank you very much.
Always sharp. I love that Dee is always together. She's always just like, every time I see you, you have everything. I guess that's why you do what you do. You are super organized and you have everything always, like right now you have cool little cards. I would lose all of those cards.
Well, let's see how this goes, and then you can compliment me later.
That's just, that's the difference between our jobs, I guess, right? And I'm very thankful that you do your job, and you do such a wonderful job. We are incredibly lucky and very blessed to have you here at the city. And I am excited to visit with you because, first of all, I know absolutely nothing about finances. You can ask my husband. So I am excited to learn so much about what we do within the city. So we'll just get started. So Dee, tell me about your role as Chief Finance Officer and kind of what does an average day look like?
The role of the Chief Finance Officer, there's a lot of different duties. Some of the duties are accounts receivable, which is taking money in, accounts payable, which is paying it back out again. Payroll to a small degree. We actually have a human resource person that does that. I supervise 3 divisions.
Wow.
That's the finance office, the utility billing office, and the municipal court office. Our bank reconciliations, we have a contract with a CPA. I'm not a CPA, but I have an accounting degree. We have a contract with a CPA, and that allows him to do the bank reconciliations, which keeps a separation of duties. You don't want the person that's in charge of the checkbook actually doing the bank reconciliations and all of the other finances.
That's a checks and balances,
That's
right?
Checks and balances, exactly.
That I understand.
Yeah. We do a lot of research of the financial information when council or city manager or someone has a question finance-wise. We work with the outside auditors. We have an annual audit every year, and one of our chief responsibilities is to work with those outside auditors and let them come in and check our books. They check our processes. They try to improve on what we do. And the final thing that is really what I consider my number 1 responsibility is the budget.
Budget, that's a big one. That's right.
That's this year's budget.
I love that little book. And this is one of the things I love about the city is you can actually thumb through this book on our website.
And we also have a hard copy. If you're not the kind that does things electronically, we have a hard copy available at City Hall. Anyone can come and look at it at any time.
I love that. I don't know about a lot of other businesses, but I think it speaks volumes when somebody says, here, take a look at my budget. This is exactly how we're spending your money. This is exactly what we're doing with it. Come to our council meetings. Come and speak at our council meetings.
Exactly.
I just think that is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I think it keeps everybody accountable.
We try as a government to be very transparent.
Sure. Definitely.
We don't want anybody thinking that we're sticking extra money in our pockets or anything like that. So
exactly. So how long have you been with the city?
I've been with the city 9 years, starting. I'll start my 9th year on September the 14th.
Oh, awesome! And were you always in this position, or how did that come about?
No, I began as the accounts payable clerk, and worked with Betty Brown in this position, and she retired and then moved on, and we had a couple of other finance directors, and I stayed in. When one of our finance directors came in, he requested that he have an assistant, and I moved into that position.
Okay,
And then from that position, after he moved on, then I got moved up into that finance officers.
awesome. So, last night was city council meeting. First of all, what do city council days, how are they different than a normal day for you? And I know budget is a huge, huge thing. You probably work on that, like what % of the time out of the year do you think?
Well, it's probably an everyday thing. Sometimes it's just questions that come up,
Uh-huh.
but we start our budget process in March to have it approved by September 30th.
Yeah.
So it's a good 6 months of
Yeah, to
crunching
build
numbers
this book,
to build
right?
that book, exactly.
And do budget things, say for instance, if a department, I can't even think of what department it might be, but say they always ask for the same budget or they have the same things in their budget. Do you see a lot of times, do you see a lot of changes from year to year?
Actually, we have, for the last 3 years, kept our budgets basically flat. We have tried to keep from adding any more dollars to it.
Okay.
We've changed what we spend our money on,
Sure.
but a lot of times we try to keep it flat. One of the things that we find has differences is our capital outlay. If they need new vehicles or new equipment
Okay.
or something along those lines, then those dollars get spent differently than salaries and supplies and office supplies and those types of things.
And so at last night's meeting, if you didn't watch it, you can see it on our Facebook page, on our City of Hondo Facebook page, this Facebook page that you're watching right now. What did you talk about last night?
Well, on city council days, everything has already gone out to our council members
Sure.
on Friday. So the week before a council meeting is really, really busy. The week of or the night of the council meeting, it's basically I review the packet and see what I think the council needs to be focused on or something that I need to point out to them
Uh-huh.
in
Something that
last
they
night-
didn't already read in their
Right.
packet. Okay.
And in last night's meeting, we talked about the budget. We had already given them a basic budget, but since that basic budget, which was July, I don't remember exactly, but
Yeah.
they got it around July 13th, 15th,
Uh-huh.
something like that. Since then, we've already made some changes, and so we give them a different color page to put in their notebook,
Okay.
and we show them what their differences are from what we gave them before and what they are now. So-
Sure.
So we're building the budget
Okay.
through their feedback and things like that.
Nice.
So the council has a whole lot to say about what gets put in the budget.
Oh, yeah.
And they're the ones ultimately responsible for it in the end.
They're the final voice for sure. So you send them something the 15th of June and then until the end of September you just tweak it and they make their changes as is
Yes.
and then they approve at
Yes.
the end of September.
Right.
Is that how my head's,
That's
I'm in the right
pretty
place?
much- Yes, that's pretty much what we do. We work on it. We constantly are doing tweaking of it. From the time we print it the first time, there's always changes, always.
Yeah,
And a budget is our best guess at how we're gonna be spending our money next year.
Of course.
Because this is, October 1 is our beginning of the year, goes through September. We figure about halfway through the year, we have a pretty good handle on how the money is gonna be spent for
Right.
that year. And so we can start to build, we give them what we call current year estimates.
okay.
We send that out to the divisions, we've got 20 divisions, and they look at it and they say, okay, I know I'm gonna be spending some more here, and I don't have quite as much up, on that line as I do up here where I'm not gonna be spending it. And we do what we call line item transfers.
Sure.
It stays within their budget, but it's not spent on what we guessed it was gonna be spent on.
Right.
It's spent on something else, so we try to, as long as we stay within that budget number, the bottom line number, we're doing well.
Yeah, that's
That-
really incredible. I have never been able to stay within a budget, so I commend us as a city for being able to do that.
And that is one of the main responsibilities is after the budget is built, it's really not just put on a shelf. I look at that book every day, so do a lot of the division
Yeah.
supervisors. So it is a living, breathing document.
It definitely is. So just while you're chatting, I'm thinking how bizarre was this past budget year with
Yes, it was very. We have a little bit of wiggle room built in a contingency line under the city manager. And all this COVID, the PPEs and everything that we've had to buy have been put under there so that we can identify that that's what that is.
yeah.
But no, we didn't plan for COVID.
Oh,
at
yeah,
all.
no.
So yeah, we've had to be adjusting our budget constantly
You probably had to
since
get
March.
creative, I'm
Very
sure.
creative.
Yeah.
And some of the revenues are not coming in as high as we expected them
Sure.
to. One example is the utilities. A lot of times, if people don't pay by the 15th, well, not a lot of times, but every time, if they don't pay by the 15th, then 10% gets added to their bills.
Right.
And we have people that don't budget to have that paid by the 15th, so they pay the extra all the time.
Yes.
And then if you don't pay by the 25th, on the 26th, we usually cut off. We have not been doing cutoffs
I
during
know.
COVID. And when you get cut off, that's another $70 added to your bill.
Yep.
And we have people that are constantly paying us the extra 70. So
Yeah.
we have that money built in as revenue, and we're not getting it this year.
Yeah. It's crazy times, and I'm sure it's been so incredibly up and down that it has probably made your job really
It's been a challenge,
interesting
yes,
and creative.
Interesting, challenging, you can use any of those
Yeah.
words. It's been all of those things.
Yeah, I certainly am praying that the next year and the next budget year look very different for sure. I'm sure that you are as well. So what is something that you think maybe is maybe something that the public might be confused about what your job is? I don't know, just enlighten me, because probably like a lot of people viewing, I don't know anything about what a CFO does. I know that I need to pay my utilities when I need to, and now that I'm with the city, I know that I need to stay within my budget. But is there something particular that you hear maybe from the public about? I mean, do people think you sit with your feet on your desk and count money all day, or?
I don't know if a lot of people think that, but that is not what I do.
I want to see you do that, though. I want. That would be awesome.
Well, one of the things is the city is in the service industry, but because we operate using public funds, there are many rules that we have
Sure.
to follow. We're government, so we have many managers.
Yes.
We have a city manager, the mayor, the city council, the state legislature,
That's right.
the governor, Congress, president.
Yep.
They all make rules that we have to follow.
That's right.
And one thing that we do a lot of is researching the statutes and things like that to make sure that we spend the way we're allowed to spend and don't do things that we're not allowed to do. Other than the city manager and the mayor and the city council, those others really don't care what we do in Hondo America.
Yeah,
So,
that's very true.
and they make rules that they have no idea how it affects all the way down to the
Yes,
level.
that trickle down effect.
trickle.
What it's.
And so we research. It can be exhausting to try to follow all those rules. Everything the finance office does is scrutinized, and I make decisions based on my experience, on experience of the previous directors that were here, on guidance from our auditors, and also guidance from our attorneys. guidance from my contracted CPA. He is very good about, if I say, help, I don't know what to do in this situation, he is always very, very good about giving me advice. So a lot of what we do is repetitive, but often we have things that come up that we've never seen, like COVID,
Yeah.
that we have never seen before. I spend a lot of time researching the grants and things
Oh,
to
yeah.
try to get money for the city to pay for the COVID responsibilities that we have now.
Sure, because everybody's feeling it in a different way.
And that money is not an endless pot.
Yeah.
Other people seem to think so, but it is not. And we have to jump through a lot of hoops to get all of that. Anything that we do qualify for, we have to show how we've spent that money.
Yes, there has to be a
And
long
it's
paper trail.
And it's reimbursement, and it's not, let's just hand you a check and you spend it on this stuff.
But
No,
aren't
we
you
have to
glad
buy-
though?
Yes, because I don't have as much of a problem following where it gets spent, if it has to be spent first, and then I can submit it.
Right.
If I had the money and then I had to get everybody to give me documentation
Yeah.
after the fact,
Yeah.
that would not be,
Yeah.
that would not be fun.
Again, that system of checks and balances, even
Absolutely.
though it is a lot of red tape, I'm sure, especially for you,
Yes, ma'am.
I think the end result, you have that history and everything is documented.
Right.
And I think it's great for our government, our city government, as well as for our citizens.
Right.
Especially when they come and ask questions, which, we totally encourage them to do. You have all of that documented, and it's all there, and I think it's reassuring.
Well, and one of the last city council meetings, I had a whole list of grants that are available, not necessarily to cities, but to individuals, to farmers, to
Yes.
people that needed food help,
Yes.
people that have public broadcasting.
Yes,
That is-
yes.
That even has.
I remember
money.
that city council meeting, and last night at our city council meeting last night, my friend Carlos Angara from the Community Council of South Central Texas was there, and he spoke extensively about what he has to offer, and he will also be here on Friday. He's doing a mini tutorial on how to fill out those forms, because
It's very important
it
to
is
a lot
important,
of people in this city.
and you gotta have that paper trail. So he's coming here to the library Friday to teach anyone. We're doing a Facebook Live event to teach you how to fill those forms out, because it can be daunting.
Yes.
And you're already stressed as it is because you're having to ask for assistance for the things that you need. So he's really wonderful like that, and I'm glad that he's a part of our community for
Yes,
sure.
we work with community council almost daily. We have
Mhm.
faxes and
Yes.
telephone conversations back and forth with.
Yeah, because he's got those clients coming in that need information
that need-
from you guys, right?
And they need help, and we do all that we can. There's not a lot
Yeah,
that we are allowed to do, but he does.
yeah.
He has a lot to do.
Yes, and he seems to be so super helpful. I have enjoyed getting to know him for sure. What is what not I know COVID's not the favorite part, but what is your favorite part of your job?
I probably would have to say the budget.
Yeah?
Even though it is stressful time, it is a challenge to be paying attention to all those details and to
Mhm.
get them correctly in the paperwork and in the book for the directors to use.
Yeah.
And
At the end process feels really great,
the end
right?
process is, that is a weight lifted off the
Oh
shoulders.
man, I bet.
But it's also a fun process. It's kind of tedious, but it's still rewarding.
It is. It's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
I love that. Yeah, definitely. What's your least favorite?
Probably the stress. I don't like the stress part. I do like the relief at the end, but there are some days that I just think, oh, why am I doing this? I can't do this anymore. My eyes are crossed from looking at all those numbers.
Yes. Oh, numbers. Ugh. I don't do numbers on days that end in Y. I just, I cannot.
Oh, I do like them.
Well, I'm so glad that you do. I know everybody else is too. Yeah, and thankfully that's the way the Lord made us. Thank God. Thank you so much. We would all be in big trouble if I had anything to do with numbers, and you can definitely write that down for sure. So, Dee, what are some of your favorite things to do outside of work? I know that you spend a ton of time on budget. You are incredibly organized and structured in your job, which again, we all appreciate so much. And you do such a wonderful job by keeping us all within our budgets and staying on top of everything. I know for me, especially as a newbie still, I have to come to Dee all the time and ask questions like, how do I ask for this? Or where do I go to do this? And she's always awesome and helps me without making me feel stupid.
If you don't know, you don't know.
That's right.
And there's sometimes when you don't know what you don't know.
That's exactly
So
right.
I try to be helpful.
You are incredibly helpful.
Thank you.
So now I want to know, what do you do when you're not working?
Well, I volunteer at the church.
Uh-huh.
I work the PowerPoint during our Sunday morning services.
Oh, fun.
I'm on some committees. Not as involved now that I have this position with the city, because a lot of our meetings are on Monday nights, and
Yes.
2 of my Monday nights, well, actually 3 of my Monday nights are
They're taken.
taken. Yes, they are. But family is close second behind the church and Jesus Christ. So I've been married for 38 years to Kurt
Wow.
Willman.
That's awesome.
I have 2 married children. My daughter, Tricia, just got married last October. My
Uh-huh.
son got married in 2016. And he has 2 children. I have 2 grandchildren,
Oh,
which
my
I
goodness.
just spent the weekend with.
Oh,
So that
nice.
was fabulous. The daughter, Emmeline Ann, is 4 years old, and Kingsley Brecken is 1.
Oh my goodness.
He was born the day after Christmas. so
Oh, wow.
he's coming
How
up on 2.
Fun. Yeah.
And things I like to do. My parents are still here in Hondo.
Mhm.
They were coaches and teachers for 35 years.
Yes.
They're both retired. My sister is a teacher here at Meyer Elementary. She's a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah.
So she still has 2 daughters that are in school, and I like to go to their volleyball matches. I'm a big supporter of the Hondo Owls.
Yes, you are.
Have been for a long time. Am having football withdrawals. Please, please, please let some of us come in and watch.
I know it. I know.
It's not the same on Facebook. It's just not.
I know. I can hear you right now in my head yelling, because we sit somewhere close to you. I know we do.
I know, and just like my dad, I'm pretty vocal.
You're very passionate.
I am. I'm
I love
passionate
it.
about my sports.
Yes.
And so my daughter, my nieces are Morgan, and she is a senior this year.
Uh-huh.
And she is a co-captain of the volleyball team,
Yep.
first in her class. And her other daughter is Reagan,
Mm-hmm.
and she's an 8th grader this year. And I'm hoping like crazy they get to have a volleyball season.
I hope so too.
I don't know if that's going to happen, and I just feel for all those kids
I
that
know
are
it.
not getting to
I-
do the normal things
Yes.
at school.
I know. You know what though, Dee? It's going to make them stronger individuals.
It is.
There is some good that's going to come out of this somewhere.
That is true, and that's the only saving grace in the whole thing.
I know it.
Is it will make them a stronger, different person
That's
than
right.
they would have been if everything was just as normal.
That's
as-
exactly
as
right.
What we consider normal.
Yeah, different circumstances create different strengths, I
Right,
think. Yeah.
right. Being raised by 2 coaches, I love sports.
Uh-huh.
But I'm no longer watching any of the professional sports.
Yeah.
They have turned me off.
Yeah.
So I just turned them off. I do cross stitch. I do Sudoku puzzles, jigsaw puzzles. I love to read. And everybody at the library knows my dad is coach.
Yes, they do. So your dad was coaching and teaching when I was in school, and unfortunately I did not have him as a history teacher, but
I
his
did.
class, did you really?
I did.
His class was right next to ours, and I could hear him the whole entire time, and I kept thinking to myself, man,
Wish I was in that
They're having a blast over there learning about history, and history's so much fun anyway, but
one.
he is a ton of fun, and we love that he comes into the library all the time. Yes, and everyone here knows him as Coach, for sure.
Yep.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for visiting with me today.
Thank you.
I hope that everyone has gotten to know you just a little bit better.
Thank you.
I love the budget. I love that it's in this book. If you want to come and look through this book, you are welcome to do so. You can come to City Hall and look at it, or you can thumb through the whole thing on our website.
Right.
So-
Hondo-tx.org.
That's right. And it's a great thing. So I guess we'll be having a new one of these pretty soon.
Pretty soon, probably September the 14th, which is the anniversary of when I started.
Yeah. Oh.
We'll be presenting the final copy for the council to approve.
To approve. Yeah. Awesome. That'll be great. Thank you guys again. Thank you so much, Dee. I always
you.
enjoy visiting with
I
you.
enjoyed it as well.
I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time on Get to Know Hondo.